Hey Scorpio, this is Michael with your general reading for December 2020. I do hope that this video finds you well and in good spirits. I want to wish you all happy holidays, even though this year is most likely going to be very different for most of us. I am thinking of all of you, whether you are able to gather with some of the people who matter most to you, or you are spending this holiday season alone. I just want you to know that I am so grateful for all of you who have supported me and been joining me on this crazy journey. It's been such a gift, and I feel like in a lot of ways you are my family too. So thank you so much to all of you who have supported me with your likes, shares, comments, and subscribes. It has helped me continue doing this work. It helps this channel grow and allows me to keep sharing these messages with all of you. I do want to get into the reading and talk about the astrology, but before we dive into that, I just want to let you know all of my links are in the description box down below. If you're looking for a reading or a Reiki session or feel called to make a donation, all of those links are available. I do also have an astrology blog that I have listed out all of the aspects and transits by date, so you don't have to remember any of the dates I mentioned throughout this video. That is all written out and available to you. I do also have links for my social media accounts. I will be announcing some changes and some new directions as we're coming into the new year. I'm kind of working this out still. I don't necessarily have solid deadlines for anything yet. 2020 has been kind of a weird year for that anyway, so I think a lot of you understand. But there will be announcements, there will be updates, I will be offering new things, so be sure to stay on my radar, be sure to stay in the know, be sure to subscribe if you haven't already done that, because I'm really excited for what is coming next, and I hope you are as well. So let's pull some cards for you. I'm going to just start shuffling. I was doing a dedicated astrology report for each of the signs this month, and honestly, it's made these videos so much longer, and it's just been really draining. I honestly, the astrology has been super heavy on me specifically, on my chart with all of my placements. I'm actually hitting my Saturn return for the third time again. This eclipse did not treat me very nicely, and I know for a lot of you it didn't treat you very nicely either, because this Gemini eclipse that happened on November 30th, this was actually in your 8th house. The 8th house is really a powerful house. It's the house of, death, rebirth, transformation. There could have been a lot of major life announcements or some big news that happened for you around this time, and that could be in the weeks before or weeks after. Technically, when we're talking about eclipses, we feel their influence for about 6 months out. So whatever happens during that time is likely to have a significant impact on our life. And really, there's so many things that are happening in December. It's not just going to be that eclipse, let me tell you now. There's going to be a lot of transformation and a lot of shifts that are happening. But with that eclipse in your 8th house, there could also be secrets that are coming out. And they could be your own, they could be things you're learning about yourself, or it could be things that other people are sharing with you, or that they are sharing with the world. Let's see. So we have the Tower in reverse coming out first here. Really interesting, because this is actually one of your cards, Scorpio, this Mars energy, and this is showing up in your day-to-day life. You do also have the Empress and the Fool in reverse coming out together, showing up in your emotions. You do also have the Ace of Cups, the Queen of Wands, and the World card in reverse coming out together here, kind of in the energy around you, the people you may be communicating with, or the thoughts that are running through your head in the first half of December, or coming into December, what's been on your mind. Looking at all of this, Scorpio, I feel like there was something that could have gone very wrong, or something that could have been very detrimental to you, but you actually managed to avoid it. Perhaps something very big did happen. There could have been this loss of a job for you, this loss of home. I know that happened to so many people throughout 2020, but I think the way that this is really manifesting for you now is that you're kind of coming out of it. So for some of you, you've either avoided something that was going to end catastrophically ahead of time, preemptively. You use your Scorpio senses to get yourself out of a situation where things fell apart. For others of you, something did kind of fall apart, something did kind of get swept up from underneath your feet, the rug got pulled from underneath your feet, but you're finding a new sense of stability now with this Empress energy, or you're trying to figure out how to get back into this energy. Maybe the situation didn't really have the stability you wanted anyway, and that's why you're connecting with, how do I feel this sense of security? How do I feel this sense of stability? 2020 really did strip a lot of things that just weren't working. It showed us all the things that have been very dysfunctional in our lives and in our society at large. And so I feel like you're now looking before you leap, Scorpio. What's interesting is there's also this Ace of Cups, Queen of Wands, and World card in reverse. And this Ace of Cups is in reverse as well. There could be a relationship that you're also not jumping into. You're taking your time with. Or maybe there's a relationship that already ended. And it could be with a fire sign, or a very passionate individual with this Queen of Wands. So Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, or just someone who's very fiery, maybe even a bit dramatic, theatrical. We do have quite a bit of Aries energy here, actually, with the Fool. But I feel like you're letting go of situations, and for some of you, a relationship that didn't really have lasting potential. It wasn't really going to go anywhere with this World card in reverse. You could also be shutting yourself off to other people and just focusing on something that brings you a lot of passion, or focusing on your creativity. I actually could see that for a lot of you. What is this Tower card in reverse? That's actually what I really am most curious about right now. Let's kind of clarify that. Ooh, the Strength card in reverse. Yeah, something did not last the test of time, and it wasn't meant to. And you might just be thinking about this past year. You know, what are the things that didn't really work for you? With career, with home, maybe even your family. Because this is kind of showing up in your day-to-day life. Someone's walls really could have just come tumbling down. And maybe that's what this Tower card is. We were talking about this full moon eclipse in Gemini on November 30th. There could have been this truth bomb that was dropped. And it caused something to end for you. But honestly, Scorpio, it's like you already knew about this situation. You already sensed something there. And you were kind of protecting yourself from it. So that's really, really interesting. But I think right now, your focus is on finding stability, on nurturing yourself. I do feel like there's this introverted energy you're taking on this month. We do also have a lunar eclipse. I'm sorry, a solar eclipse in Sagittarius on December 14th. This is really exciting for you because this is in your second house. A lunar eclipse, a solar eclipse, it's a solar eclipse, it's a new moon in your second house in Sagittarius. It's a really powerful time for you to set intentions, to manifest. For you specifically, it could be money. Stability, financial stability. For some of you, this situation that you didn't get yourself into was a financial investment, or it was a joint partnership with somebody. You may have had a bad feeling about working with somebody or giving someone money, and there's some sort of confirmation that you received at the beginning of December or at the end of last month that really was affirming for you. But now you're creating stability for yourself. You're manifesting something here as this Empress, and you have a lot of potential to do so, I want to tell you. And I feel like some of you are being very selective in your relationships as well, to be totally honest. Uranus has been in your opposite sign, in Taurus, and it's going to be there for a few years. And it could be really waking you up to patterns that are no longer working. And it's causing a lot of shifts. So it might change the way that you date, or change the relationships you're in, for those of you already in relationships. And transforming patterns. Let's pull an animal card here and kind of clarify all this energy so far. What is the animal wisdom for Scorpio for the first half of this month? Starfish. Yeah, okay, I was looking at these cards. Some of you really were dealing with a superficial person or superficial energy. And maybe this is multiple people, it might not just be one. Because when I see the starfish, it's this beautiful energy, someone who might even be a bit artistic or creative, but it's not very original. And it lacks depth, it lacks substance. And you're letting go of that. You're not interested in just connecting with anybody anymore. Maybe you never were, but now it's really strong in you. I do feel like it's important for you, though, Scorpio, to not shut out everybody in your life. I think you need to figure out the relationships that do nurture you, that do help you cultivate a sense of depth. And there's kind of a healthy, energetic exchange. Because I feel like with this almost psychic vampirism that's been in your life, you might be shut down to people in general. And I know socially this year has been very challenging as well. Because we've been locked down, we've been isolated from each other. There's been a lot of division, a lot of polarization that has gone on. But I feel like your social circles are kind of being weeded out. And that could be fire sign individual again, Leo energy, Aries energy, could be Sagittarius. Let's take a look at the second half of December. What are the messages for Scorpio for the second half of December? Show us clearly, please. Okay, so we have the Ace of Coins, or Ace of Pentacles, showing up in the reverse. The Hierophant, and the Moon card in reverse. Some of you who have been having a challenging time with your finances, or maybe with starting a business or creating a home, something to do with the earthly plane, some sort of new beginning, long-term investment, or long-term beginning. Again, I guess that's the word for it. You're going to be consulting someone with this Hierophant energy who might be able to help you, who is demystifying some sort of process with this moon in the reverse. This could also be some of you just coming back into your spirituality. Really getting back in touch with your spiritual roots or your spiritual center. And probably the most significant aspect of this year is happening on December 21st. That's this great conjunction between Jupiter and Saturn that we've been talking about. And for you, this is occurring in your 4th house, your IC, in the sign of Aquarius. And so when I'm seeing this Ace of Coins in the reverse, this Ace of Pentacles in reverse, I'm actually very tempted to say that there's a blockage for you in your home or with your family. Could potentially be financial. I could definitely see some financial trouble, especially this year, for a lot of people. But for this group specifically, you're having a hard time creating the home that you want, or the life that you want. Could be involving a marriage as well with the Hierophant. When I think of the Ace of Coins or the Ace of Pentacles, sometimes it does kind of show up in my mind as a wedding ring. And the Hierophant does also speak of marriage. And some of you might not be married and want to be married, or some of you might actually be ending a marriage or considering ending a marriage. There's some trouble there. But I feel like there is someone who can help you. There is a mentor here available to you. Or some sort of life coach or speaker. I want to clarify some of this energy here. How are we doing on time? Okay, we're doing pretty good. Oops. Six of Cups in the reverse with this Moon card in the reverse. Interesting. This could be talking about old relationships. Someone you have a long history with. Maybe you're being disconnected from this person. Yeah, Seven of Coins. You really are trying to figure out how to invest in your future here. This is a really specific message for a general reading, so take it if it resonates, leave it behind if it doesn't. I think a lot of you are looking at your life and almost kind of reviewing your life, looking at your family, looking at your home, looking at your career, and feeling very dissatisfied. Or feeling like I've put in all this work, all this energy, and I have nothing to show for it. Or I don't have the life that I really want. I don't have the family or relationship I really want. That's coming in especially important, actually. Yeah, that feels like a big concern for this group. And when we have Saturn moving into your 4th house, and even Jupiter in your 4th house, there is going to be a lot of focus on home for you throughout 2021. So this isn't just talking about December. And Saturn and Jupiter are really interesting energies because they're both very karmic. Jupiter can be kind of the karmic reward a lot of the time, or just blessings that come into our lives. Saturn can be a bit of a restrictive energy. It's the stern mentor, or the strict mentor, kind of a father figure almost, who's not just going to give you what you want. You have to work for it, you have to earn it, you have to prove yourself, and really be ready for it. And with Saturn being so close with Jupiter this year, and Jupiter being in the sign of Capricorn, which is the sign, one of the signs of Saturn, there has been a lot of restrictions and a lot of limitations that have been imposed on us. And it's really hampered and hindered our sense of faith, of optimism, of expansion, of growth. And for those of you who have managed to keep faith, and to work on your long-term goals this year, there could actually be a reward for you around this time period. But to be honest with you, I feel like, Scorpio, what this energy is telling me is, in December, you're becoming very aware of how you've not been working towards the life you really want to have. And that might sound like a hard message to hear, but there's actually something very freeing in that. Because it's allowing you to stop playing games and stop taking detours trying to get what you want, stop trying to bargain. Like, if I want X, I have to do Y and Z, or that's backwards. If I want Z, I have to do X and Y first. But then you get so caught up in X and Y that you don't ever get the opportunity to pursue Z. And that seems to be a theme. And it's really interesting because for the past 200 years, we have had Saturn and Jupiter coming together in Earth signs. And they do that every 20 years. These conjunctions happen every 20 years between Jupiter and Saturn. Why this one is so significant is that it is signifying the shift into Saturn and Jupiter conjoining in air signs. These two planets together have caused a lot of expansion in ways like the Industrial Revolution, material gain, materialism, capitalism. There has been just an explosion of resources that have happened, and a lot of hoarding that's actually happened as a result of it. As we are shifting into air signs, it's becoming more about communication, relationships, information, technology that keeps us communicated and connected. And in a very visceral way, Scorpio, it feels like there's just suddenly this moment for you where you're realizing you've done all this work, you've been doing all of these things trying to get relationship. Or trying to have the family you've always wanted because you believed you needed to have a certain life, or you needed to look a certain way. And so much of what you've wanted has been based off of how you thought you could achieve those relationships, or that family, or that marriage, that partnership, whatever this is for you. And it's also caused you to connect with people who weren't really right for you. And that was kind of what we were talking about at the start of the month. So let's pull some animal wisdom here, maybe get some advice. The Wolf card. Yep, this is all about community. This is all about pack and all about family. And this doesn't necessarily have to be your biological family. It could just be like your spiritual family, but honestly, this actually feels like family is a very big thing. The pack is a very big thing. Whoever those people are for you. And really wanting to be of service, or needing to be of service. Because when we look at the wolf, and sort of this archetype, wolf is a pack animal, but then you also have the lone wolf. And it's interesting, Scorpio, because I do believe that the wolf is actually one of your symbols. You have a lot of symbols, by the way. Like, Scorpio can be represented by 7 different symbols or figures. And that might actually be something for you to look up as well, kind of the connection between Scorpio and wolf energy. Because I feel like you're coming into the wolf phase. Some of you are also just letting people be themselves, especially family members. You're not trying to change them anymore. You're not trying to make them the people you want them to be or need them to be. And you're just pursuing relationships in other people. And that doesn't even mean that you're leaving them behind. It doesn't necessarily mean you're cutting them out. Maybe some of you are, but it's more just realizing you're not going to have that relationship with that person that you're trying to have, especially a family member. That is coming up pretty specifically. So I'll be curious to hear in the comments down below who that is for you. But yeah, wolf, this is all about family. This is all about the pack. And finding your pack. And also creating a family. I feel like that's important. And that's going to be a real focus for you. And a lot of the time when we have blockages there, it's because of issues from our childhood, issues with the 4th house, the IC, that have made us afraid of the thing we want the most. So home, family, these are going to be really big things for you towards the end of the month, and I even want to say into next year. Incidentally, we're ending this year off with an eclipse in Cancer. I'm not sorry, it's not an eclipse, it's a full moon. It's just a regular full moon. Oh, thank God. But we did start off this year with the full moon in Cancer, so that's interesting. That is kind of that review motif again. We started off the year with a full moon in Cancer, we're ending it with a full moon in Cancer. And Cancer stereotypically is about home, it is about family, the mother, the nurturer. And again, I feel like there is that mentor for you, again, with this Hierophant. It's almost like a family counselor, or I don't know who this figure is. I feel like some of you are looking for help. Some of you are talking to a therapist. Trying to figure out your patterns in relationships. Again, that Uranus and Taurus energy shaking you up. Some changes happening, some awakenings happening. This doesn't feel like, or it doesn't sound like the most pleasant energy right now, Scorpio, but I think with this conjunction between Saturn and Jupiter, if you work with it, if you really commit yourself to learning the lessons, there can be some major rewards. So I don't want you to hear this and feel defeated or deflated. Be open to healing, be open to mentorship, be open to talking to people who have some expertise or someone who you consider wise, because they could be very helpful for you. And those are all the messages I am getting for you this month. I do hope that this reading was helpful for you, Scorpio. Make sure to hit like and subscribe. Let me know in the comments down below, what is it that resonated with you? What is it that really stands out to you in this reading? I'd love to hear. I'd love to hear who these relationships are with, who these people are in your life. And I have all of my links down below if you're looking for a reading or Reiki session. And I will see you all in the next video. Take care, Scorpio. Have a happy December.